Hello there, and welcome to the Our Time Film Podcast, where we talk film, TV, games, and all that jazz. Let us know tomorrow. This week, we're talking about the Book of Boba Fett. My name is Tom, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host John.
Hey, Book of Boba Fett. This has
Ooh.
been interesting. So, yeah.
So first of all, full spoilers ahead for the show. If you haven't seen it, definitely get on that. It's definitely a show. It's been a while since we talked Mandalorian, hasn't it? It's been over a year at this point since Mandalorian season 2 ended. So just like what did you think of this show in general?
Honestly, this felt like a Mandalorian 2.5. Like we got like a couple episodes from Mando exploring, where you left off with Grogu and the woman who made all the stuff, the armor. I was about to say the Forge person, but no,
the
it's
Forge
the
woman.
The Forge woman. Yes, Forge this, please.
We haven't seen the Mandalorian covert since season 1, so it's such a strange place to put that whole plot in the Boba Fett show.
Yeah, even though I thought, it was going to be more focused on Boba Fett, which it did with the whole backstory with the Sarlacc pit. That was great with that whole episode with the Tuskens, how he survived the massive territory of Tatooine. So, yes, and that was really cool. Yeah.
Definitely. I think this is a messy show, but it has a lot to like. Developing its main characters. If we think of Boba and Din as the main characters, I think this show really soars in developing them, especially for Boba. Let's talk about Boba Fett for a bit. I think his character development is pretty strong, especially in the first half of the show. As you said, it was really great seeing his transition in all the flashbacks from a cold-blooded killer, the person who we see in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, to someone more humble who learns the value of respect and honor through living with the Tuskens. I mean, there are so many flashbacks. Like, what did you think?
Oh, it was jarring. Like, so many flashbacks at once. I was like, Sarlacc pit, no, he's Tuskens, no, Fennec, and just like, just trying to consume everything at once.
I think in the first half of the show, in the first 4 episodes, before you hit the episodes with Din, there's less than 1 hour in the present storyline.
Oh yeah,
I think that's crazy. We just don't get enough time to develop what's happening in the present for the finale and the big, what they're calling this war, to really land.
Yeah, I thought at the beginning, it's gonna build up something for Boba Fett. Like the tagline said, I don't know, it was like saying Boba Fett returns and he reinvents himself in Tatooine. So I thought that was gonna be, focus on him on a different path, which it did, like he's a bit more humble, living in Tatooine and coping with the Tuskens. I thought there's going to be more development in that, but it was like in the first half, and it was a bit annoying because, we got an hour left with the whole thing with Din and with the armor. But yeah, we did get some content, but it just felt a bit messy. So yeah.
I think a good half of the flashbacks are probably the strongest stuff in the show. The opening with Boba escaping the Sarlacc and when he makes his gaffy stick and when he discovers the dead tribe. But for me, these sequences just went on too long. I feel like they wanted to build this relationship between Boba and the Tuskens so we can have their eventual death be more impactful. And it does work, in fairness. I did feel for him when he found the destroyed tribe, but they could have done it more effectively in so much less time.
Yeah, there's a lot of forced flashbacks, like, oh no, and then, imagine there was like a whole flashback for the gaffy stick, like you lost it somewhere.
Every episode in the first 4, I would be like, oh, I can't wait to watch Book of Boba Fett. And then it would open up with him in the back to tank. And you see that shot of him with his like sleeping, and I'm just like, oh, another one. Every single time, it just felt like we were treading. It's like you think about the Clone Wars, and I always come back to the Clone Wars because it is top tier Star Wars. But in 20 minutes, that show can craft really strong characters and character relationships. And we only needed 20 minutes of the Tuskens to understand how important they were. Maybe 40, but they give us a good hour with the Tuskens.
Yeah,
and some of that stuff's really good, but some of it does leave a lot to be desired.
Yeah, and I felt like it was nothing, but there was some good stuff about like him learning with the Tuskens. That was the really weird part.
There's a lot of really good stuff with the Tuskens, but we then begin to neglect other elements of the show. For example, I loved the stuff with Boba and Fennec in Chapter 4. We get to see their friendship and how it fits into Chapter 5 of The Mandalorian. And we build their relationship, and it's really cool, but it kind of occurs a bit too late. Fennec is a character who doesn't really get much to do in the show. And, she's really cool in action scenes and stuff. But she doesn't really have an arc.
Yeah, that's a really weird part because Fennec just was there. She does kill important people later on in the show,
yeah.
like in the finale. Like she wasn't there for the whole episode.
Tomas Eisley.
Yeah. The interesting part is that he runs his palace. He's trying to be different or change from his past. And then you keep seeing in that sleeping tube, I guess, like he's trying to go through flashbacks. And then you got the twins. I forgot what the twins called.
I don't think they have names. I think
twins.
they're just the twins.
Jabba's twins. There you go.
Sure. Why not?
Jabba was there originally.
Was.
So
I thought that it was going to be, when they showed these two huts, I was so sure that one of them was going to be Jabba's son. Do you remember Jabba's son from the Clone Wars movie?
Yeah, when Jabba's son got kidnapped.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be, I mean, apparently huts like live for ages. So Jabba's son would still be really young. But I kind of thought that was going to be them. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, yeah. But no, they're just twins. Twins.
And guys, they leave so early on. I mean, I feel if we get a season... If we get a season... Wow, that was beautiful. I feel if we get a season... Yeah. If we get a season 2, I do feel like they're going to come back. Because... their involvement was so fleeting.
Yeah, obviously they leave to leave some conflict, I guess. Like they just wanted like some territory. Yeah,
maybe. I think. Yeah. I don't know. Because they were in 2 scenes and then they left. They're like, "Hello, we're threatening you. Okay, here's a rancor. Bye,
bye."
So like, there's definitely some interesting ideas that they kind of go into, but they don't really develop it. Like the stuff with Camino and Jango Fett, we got a couple of times that we saw young Boba and he's holding Jango's helmet, stuff like that, and I feel like they're trying to make a theme of Boba breaking free of who he was born to be in that weird spirit quest where he gets trapped by the tree and he inhales a lizard, it goes up his nose, and I feel like it was kind of pushed aside. And if we didn't have those 2 episodes of Din going about and doing his own stuff, these 2 weird Mandalorian interludes, then I feel like we could have explored these things in the present day. There's a lot going on with Boba, and it could have been more prevalent in these scenes because the themes are kind of like all over the place.
Yeah, and having that transition from season 2 of Mandalorian to this was a bit weird because, as you said about the themes, it was a bit hard trying to understand his aims, like what was he doing, but he's doing his old ways with the bounty hunting and got that new Darksaber. Ooh,
he does.
Darksaber. Yeah, in that fight scene in the kitchen,
meat
it
house. It
looked like a kitchen.
It's a meat house.
Meat house, yeah, meat
where
house.
They hold the meat. I don't know what they're called.
Yes,
there's definitely a name.
Yeah, but I guess it's meat house. The Darksaber was shown a couple of times, but it was kind of explained when he was talking to the armorer about like how he felt with the Darksaber. It was like heavy, and then he said like, "Oh, it seems like you're like fighting against it." Yeah. So I'm pretty interested to see what he's going to do with this Darksaber.
Yeah, that was very interesting. It was very similar to what you see in Star Wars Rebels. In that show, a Mandalorian character called Sabine Wren gets the Darksaber, and a Jedi, Kanan, who we see briefly at the beginning of the Bad Batch, trains her, and we get a very similar kind of, you can't fight the blade, you've got to kind of move with it, you're not necessarily using it as redirecting, this energy. And what I loved about Chapter 5, and I would say Chapter 5 of this show is both the best and the worst of the show, but I love that it was Din struggling with the fallout of what happened at the end of Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah, and it's a weird episode. Like, it was so good, but then there was like really bad parts.
This is the Boba Fett show. It's so jarring that it takes us out, especially in that first one with Din. Fennec shows up at the end, and that is like the only connection plot-wise to what's happening in the Book of Boba Fett in his story. And it just felt so off. Like, I really enjoyed, the flashback to the Mandalorian purge. It felt like Terminator with the KX droids walking through the rubble like it's Judgment Day, and Din giving up bounty hunting for his mission with Grogu and then coming back to being a bounty hunter and have to grapple where he fits in his life, having to get over the loss of the Razor Crest and make himself a new starship. It was so cool, but this is Mandalorian stuff. It's not Book of Boba Fett stuff, and therefore we're taking such a break, and we're getting like 20 minutes of Din reforging this new starfighter. It was so cool to see an N1 starfighter again from Phantom Menace. But it's such a strange place to do it. Why are we doing this with Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah, that was the most confusing part. I was like, there's Din, getting all the stuff, getting a new ship. Yeah, it's not Book of Boba Fett. It's the new Mando. This is not the way. And then he visits Ahsoka and R2-D2, where Luke is training Grogu. And if you remember what happened to that place in episode 7, in the Star Wars franchise.
Oh yes, burned to the ground.
It looks so peaceful, and then when you're like, wait, why does this place look so familiar?
Oh God, no! What did you?
There was a meme like, people who don't know, they smile. People who know, it's like that really dark, unhappy face. Like, oh no, I know what happened.
Like, no, please, God, no. What did you? I want to quickly think, because Luke in Mandalorian season 2, he looks pretty rough, but I think this time, I think his CGI was much, much better. I still feel like
I agree.
It would be better if they just recast him, but I think they've gone with the CGI route and it works. I mean, the voice is a little bit weird, but I think that it's so much better this time. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I remember they hired someone. Yeah, they hired someone on the internet who did it perfectly well. I thought, yes, we need you. So I don't know if that story is correct, but
no, that is true. They hired somebody who did like a deep fake online, fixing what he looked like. And I think that this looks so much more like Luke. But I think narratively, this was really cool. Seeing Luke in the early days of training students, he gives Grogu this choice between the lightsaber and his mithril shirt. It's a good example of Luke repeating the Jedi mistakes of the past. He says, oh, you can't have attachment and you have to choose which life you're going for instead of letting them all move together. In this and in Mando season 2, and even in other things like Battlefront 2, we're seeing the legend and the mistakes of Luke Skywalker, the things that weighs his character down in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, it's a really interesting development. If you have a bridge that you see from Return of the Jedi and then Mandalorian season 2, then you got Book of Boba Fett. Then many, many years later, you got episode 7. That terrible thing happened at the Jedi Temple. That's a really interesting development that I really like. Filling in the gaps and, understanding his journey. Like, he was peaceful, but then got grumpy. Episode 8.
Hey, it happens to the best of us. We all get grumpy. It does feel like, because there's 30 years in between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. And it definitely feels, I think we're about 6 or 7 years into that time period. There's so much story to tell. There's so much that brings Luke from where he is now to where, because as we know from Rise of Skywalker, Luke trains Leia at some point for a brief time. He has a whole little Jedi order that he starts to build. And at this point, Ben Solo, who will one day be Kylo Ren, he's about 2 years old, 1 year old. So he's not that old. So he's not going to be a Jedi yet. But we definitely see that Luke's building this. And I like this character development with him and Grogu as well. When he was training with Luke, having him start to remember his old Jedi training and have Order 66 flashbacks. That was completely, did not expect that. Again, and they keep on bringing it back. Like, we can't recover. They do it in Revenge of the Sith, and then years later, they're like, okay, we're gonna do it in Fallen Order, and then we're gonna do it in the Clone Wars, and then we're doing it in the Bad Batch, then we're gonna do it in Book of Boba Fett. It's like, stop. I can't mentally prepare for this. But just like Boba, Grogu is confronting his past. And I think these themes are really strong. If only they were given more time to shine with Boba himself.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. That was really interesting to see.
There's this great theme about Boba and his armor, learning to let it go. The flashbacks show us that Boba is kind of moving beyond the Fett legacy and he takes up the Tusken way. And we see this in some really, really great scenes, like the fight with Santan, where he reaches for his armor, but it doesn't work. And so he uses the gaffy stick, which saves him. And again, in the final duel, he can't beat Cad Bane in a shootout, but he manages to overpower him and kill him with the gaffy stick again. And it feels very in line with the themes of the Mandalorian and what we're going for, the reliance and the importance and the armor. And it's symbolism, but it's something that disappears in the show.
I wish there was more interesting fight scenes, with his moves and, how he changed his ways with fighting, but being brutal as well. If you see that in season 2, with, he's attacking with his gaffy stick. If you see their armor just getting ripped off, if you saw that, just bah! It felt like a bit empty.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel like the action in the show, just in general, it leaves a little bit to be desired. I feel like at the end we'll probably talk about the finale, but I've got more notes about the action.
There was like really awkward fight scenes or chase scenes. One,
Mm-hmm.
the infamous bike scene.
Oh, it's very, it is infamous. Oh, yes.
The 20-mile-per-hour bike ride.
Okay, let's talk about the mods as characters. You know, they're quite controversial. I mean, what do you think about them as characters?
I don't know. This is the first time that I felt like, okay, I don't know. I just felt like, why? They're just biker gangs, just driving around in Tatooine with their funky cyberpunk motorcycles. Yeah, and just
yeah. Well, I mean, what they're going for is they're playing on the mod culture of the 60s in real life with their Vespers, you know, these motorbikes, which they make so shiny and brightly colored. And obviously we get the wacky speeders, and they even play on the word mod, which in real life is you know what they were called, but they literally modify themselves with droid parts. But as characters, they weren't that impressive. They didn't do much. They weren't that developed. Like Boba hires them as muscle, and I like how, you know, he shows himself to be a good ruler. He gets them off the streets by giving them a job, but they weren't really that imposing. Didn't have much to do. You know, they're pretty bland, and you know, as you said, the action was pretty underwhelming. The little 10-mile-an-hour speeder chase. It's cool in concept, but it was, you know, it was pretty boring.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that they could have explored, but no, the 20-mile-per-hour bike ride. Yeah, that chase, I can't tell it was a bike ride or chase. Like
allegedly stroll.
Yeah, this one was really weird.
I kind of wish that we'd got more stuff with Slave One as well. Like we got a fair bit of action with when Din's flying the starfighter. That was cool. We got a bit of stuff with X-wings, and obviously we got our really slow chase and the train chase. Really cool scenes. But the Slave One, we only really got 2 real scenes at I love the stuff with Boba and Fennec when they drop the seismic charge into the Sarlacc pit. That was great. Yeah. But, you know, it did feel pretty gratuitous. And it's spending too much time in the flashbacks. And I would have liked to see Slave One in real time. But there was the great scene where he kills the bikers and he just mows them down in the Slave One. And they kind of bring up this theme briefly, this question of whether Boba is a soulless murderer or the respectful leader that he wants to be. And, you know, as you say, we've seen the dirty side of him when he murders the biker gang, and again when he defeats Cad Bane. But he's also got this theme of him wanting to build and rule with honor, and, you know, like when he recruits Santan and the mods. But it feels kind of stop and start, and like they're switching out themes and character development. And I just wished that these themes were a greater through line and they weren't pushed aside for 2 Din Djarin episodes, you know, so we can focus on Boba as a character. I just like, it's the Boba Fett show. Like, it's so frustrating. You had one job, was to make a Boba Fett show, and Boba Fett isn't even in one episode, and the other one, he doesn't say a single line. Like, come on.
They didn't even focus on Boba Fett. They just went, do you remember Din Djarin, Mandalorian stuff? Like, oh yeah. Well, we got Boba Fett. And as we said, like the Slave One, that was so cool when he dropped that seismic into the Sarlacc pit.
That was so good. Like when they went into the Sarlacc and it starts to grab them in, and Fennec's like clambering, she's like, fire in the hole. It was cool. It was really cool. Like, what can I say?
And you hear that sound. Bow.
No, yeah, it was so good. But maybe this show and The Mandalorian could have been one show. And here's what I'm kind of thinking. Maybe we just have one show called like Tales of the Bounty Hunters, which shows both of them. You know, we start with Din, we get 3 or 4 episodes of Din, and then we get an episode of Boba Fett, and we show what happens with him and the Tuskens. And then we get the episode with Din going to Tatooine, and then maybe we get the with Boba meeting Fennec, and then we get a load more Din, and then we get the episodes where Boba and Din are in Mandalorian, and then we get all the present day Boba Fett stuff, and then the Mandalorian, and then it feels less like we're doing Mandalorian show and then Boba's show with some of Din in there, and instead we're kind of just exploring both of them simultaneously a lot of the time. Like the Clone Wars, again, top tier Star Wars. It has its main characters, but it also tells stories about different characters frequently. And I just feel like Din's episodes in this show, they could have just connected to Boba's so much more. And I think chapter 5, it does fit in with the themes of carving out an identity, but I feel like it diverts from the overarching story in such a big way, and it makes the show feel disjointed. Maybe if Din was to encounter some pikes or goes to Tatooine because Boba calls him, something like that, to make it feel like the show didn't just have a random Mandalorian interlude for 2 episodes. Like one episode maybe. But Boba Fett doesn't have a single line in these 2 episodes, and it's like it's the Boba Fett show. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's really annoying.
Oh man. But we have one of the coolest things like that happened in the show.
Oh yeah.
And this was so unexpected. Like the show was gonna be like, oh, come on, but where's more of the Boba Fett stuff? Like, where is it? Where is it? But no, you see like a very mysterious figure at the horizon at the end of episode 5, wasn't it?
No, it's episode 6.
Damn it. At the end of episode 6, you see a mysterious figure. Cad Bane. It's Cad Bane.
Honestly, like I was hoping that he would be in this show. And as soon as I saw the title card, "From the Desert Comes a Stranger," the whole episode, I was like, who's the stranger? Who is it? And seeing that silhouette of the hat, it was so good. It made me so happy as a Clone Wars fan, as a Bad Batch fan. Get to see Cad, and he looks great in live action. The show didn't really have a main antagonist, unless you count the head Pike, but I don't really think that they served. But Cad Bane was the one who served as that final force for Boba in his journey. And it was great. He's the fastest gun in the galaxy. Not even Boba can stop him. And, as I said before, he has to use his gaffy stick to defeat him. They even referenced the unfinished Clone Wars arc where Cad Bane trains Boba and the two of them have a shootout, resulting in the dint in Boba's helmet and the plate on Cad's head. And it was great to see him. And like, it sucks that he had to die, but is he dead? He could be. No one ever really dies in Star Wars.
No one.
Unless you're Palpatine. He died. Palpatine died in Return of the Jedi. He died once. He never came back. He's gone forever. He didn't come back.
He's not actually alive. He's dead. He died in Return of the Jedi.
John, I just got some news. Somehow Palpatine returned.
No! How can this be? He returned back in Fortnite. No.
Oh, he did. It's dark science, cloning, secrets only the Sith knew. Oh God.
And then JJ Abrams just announced it in Fortnite, where Fortnite is just like, why?
Didn't they premiere like the Spider-Man trailer on Fortnite?
No.
Am I imagining that? What trailer did they premiere on Fortnite? Oh, it was the Batman. It was the Batman trailer.
No.
Yeah, it was the Batman trailer. They aired the Batman trailer on Fortnite.
Remember that. I didn't remember that.
Yeah. I remember reading about it.
Wait.
Yeah.
I haven't been on social media, so did they actually premiere it?
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, because I don't remember that.
Oh, wait. No. I know what it was. It wasn't the Batman, John. Oh no. It was Tenet.
No!
Yeah, it was Tenet. Oh my God. Wow. And you guys can watch our 2 episodes we did on Tenet if you're interested.
We won't talk about Fortnite on those Tenet episodes.
No. Oh
no. Imagine we have to rank the best Fortnite skins.
Don't make those promises. I'm not prepared. I don't want to do that. That's a bad idea.
I mean, like their designs and like what they did, the DC characters or Marvel characters.
To be fair, I love some of those skins. The Daredevil skin? I think that's so cool. It looks great. But yeah, I'm not. If we ever talk about Fortnite on this podcast, I think we've lost everything. Our integrity, our sense of quality.
Yeah.
No.
Let's I'm
shutting,
link.
I'm shutting this down right now. Let's.
Okay. Oh no.
Okay, right. So we're talking about Cad Bane.
Oh yeah, Cad Bane. Yeah.
Another. Go on.
You go on.
Okay. What?
You go on.
You go on.
There you go on.
Okay. I will. Another bounty hunter we got was Santan, and my God, Santan was the original. Like Wookiee bounty hunter who is so cool. And let me tell you, John, he's from the comics, and I remember seeing him. And I got so excited. And you want to know a really fun fact?
Tell me.
You know his scar on his eye?
Yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi gave him that.
What?
Yeah, like in the comics, there's this whole story about like Jabba trying to impose water taxes on people. And Kenobi was like defending the Lars homestead. But yeah, so like great to see him from the comics. And he had some really cool fight scenes, like when he fought Boba in the tub. And when like at the end, I thought he was gonna die at the end like 3 times. I was like, don't kill Santan, but they didn't. That was good. But like both the bounty hunter characters, Santan and Cad Bane, they act to show the progression or even the regression of Boba as a character. I think that's a really smart way to use them. They show how he has developed beyond what we kind of know him as.
Yeah, and it was really cool seeing, Cad Bane. Actually, the funny bit was Cad Bane was like, Boba Fett is a cold-blooded killer. And he just straight up kills Cobb, and then other body his fault.
Well, Cobb is alive. Did you watch the post-credit scene?
Yeah. I watched the post credit where
he's alive. Sleeping. So
he's sleeping, guys. Guys, he's sleeping.
He's having dreams about like Tusken Raiders and gaffy sticks, and like you can't go into that tub without having flashbacks. Those are the rules. No. I love Cobb Vanth, as we said when we talked about Mandalorian, and I'm excited to see where he goes in the future as this martial figure. I like how the themes of respect and honor come through with people of Freetown, and who come to help Boba because it's the right thing to do and because they want to avenge Cobb. And it's good that he's not dead because they already killed Garza Thwit, who runs the bar. They just blew up the bar and her, and she was a cool character. I thought they'd explore her, but they just kind of killed her to prove a point. They could have built her relationship with Boba and the other characters, but I just hope that Max Rebo, the best musician in the galaxy, survived. So good to see him back. The blue elephant?
Oh, yeah, the blue elephant, yeah.
Max Rebo, my guy, he's alive. And he's still, we didn't see him explode. So just saying.
Good.
You have no idea what I'm on about. You're just like, what, the elephant? Like, what's going on?
Elephant?
Let's talk about the finale. Let's do it. Let's talk about that finale.
Okay, the finale. Now, this was really cool. Like, seeing Din and Mando. No, Din and Boba Fett.
Din's fighting with himself. Like, what?
Oh, whoa. It's like Fight Club. Oh, no, we can't talk about Fight Club. Oh, I just did. Damn it.
Do you not know the first rule of Fight Club?
Din and Boba Fett fighting alongside to defeat the people who are attacking them. I was confused. Like, who's these people? The Pikes. There we go. Because the name wasn't getting clear in my head.
They didn't really do much in the show. They were kind of there in a few episodes. They didn't really build up their involvement in the show as much as they could have. But my main problem, as I said, with the action is Robert Rodriguez, his direction. So he directed, I think, 3 episodes of this show. And he proved himself to be amazing at shooting 1-to-1 action in Mando season 2. As you said before, where Boba returns and he goes ape shit on all the stormtroopers. That stuff was amazing. And it's great in this show, where Boba and Din fight together and when they fight Santan in the palace. Those scenes are really cool. But the large scale action, we've already talked about the 20-mile-an-hour chase, and the big action to me just felt pretty bland. And I feel like he's given all he can in terms of direction. And I'm not too bothered if we don't see him come back. Other directors like Bryce Dallas Howard, who made another great episode with Chapter 5 for this show, I think they do better in this universe. And the war, they've set up this big war, and it was pretty underwhelming. It was too small scale for what they set up, and it came down just to fight with 2 huge droidica-like droids. And the actual interesting conflicts are when Din and Boba are working together, and Cad Bane when he fights Boba, and Fennec when she defeats the heads of all the other clans. Like, that was the interesting stuff to me, not like the mods and the people of Freetown just fighting the big droids.
I feel that you do more depth analysis to me because I watch it and just go, oh look, it's Boba.
I have notes. This is essentially scripted. I'm just reading my notes and I'm just like, okay, themes. All right, yeah, just like
notes.
Don't worry about it. I don't have anything to say off the top of my head, so like, don't worry about that.
Oh man. Yeah, as I said, it was like really cool seeing Din and Boba, fighting onside together to defeat the Pikes. And then what was that? It was a very long name. I don't know. What was there? That woolly. No, it's not a woolly mammoth. It's like Chewbacca. But like
Chris Santan.
There we go. Because when I looked at the subtitle, I was like,
Christopher.
Christopher Robin.
Christopher Robin, who was of course played by Ewan McGregor.
Ah yes, Ewan McGregor. When's the Kenobi show coming out this year?
25th of May. They just released a teaser poster.
What?
Look, my boy, look. See the beauty of the poster.
Oh my god,
it's cool.
Kenobi.
I
can do that. The voice acting. Kenobi. It was really cool seeing Boba Fett controlling the Rancor. It was like, yeah, we can defeat those droids. Then again, as I remembered, this is not a Boba Fett show. It's a bounty hunters show.
Yeah.
And then they had that standoff between Cad Bane and Boba, and then
that was so cool. Like, he was talking about the Clone Wars and he was like, I'm going to teach you one final lesson. And he was shooting him and Boba uses the gaffy stick. And Cad's like, see, you are a murderer. It's so cool. I love that stuff, man.
Yeah. Like you can tell it was like a huge dispute between them.
Yes.
It doesn't need a lot of like backstory to understand these two characters. Like literally they used to be partners, but then training together, but then yeah, that's really good story.
Yeah, I agree. And I did enjoy seeing him ride the Rancor, but it felt kind of rushed. They introduced the Rancor, and obviously Danny Trejo is the Rancor keeper, but they barely show Boba training with it and bonding with it. So it didn't really feel like a payoff.
No, it didn't.
And just in general, closing thoughts. I think this show, it just could have been longer, and it left me wanting a lot more.
Yeah, just felt like empty, but it's got content, I guess. Yeah.
Definitely has that content. Oh, and obviously it ends with Din and Grogu reunited in the Starfighter. And I'm kind of disappointed. I was hoping that they would spend at least one season of The Mandalorian showing Din without Grogu and exploring his life away from him. And that's what I loved so much about chapter 5. And in chapter 6, where he's so close, but he can't see Grogu. I wish that one day maybe we'll be able to flesh out that time of his life.
Yeah, I was like annoyed when I saw, Grogu returned that quick.
Somehow Grogu returned.
Like literally, I'm gonna go on for a moment with this. So at the end, we see Grogu, saying goodbye to Din.
Mm-hmm.
That was emotional. That was emotional. And then we see them reunited back together quickly. I was like, I cried for that. I cried for that scene. And then
I shed tears for you.
I shed tears for that scene. And then now you came back early, but no.
All right. Do you want a season 2 of this show? What do you think?
No, it's fine.
I agree. I think either way, whether we have a season 2 or not, we're going to explore more stuff with Boba in Mando season 3 or whenever. But I agree. I'm happy to leave it at one season because, if anything, it proved that Din's story is the more interesting one.
Yes. And I'm sorry, but it was just so sad, like seeing like Boba not being the main character properly. Like in season 2 of Mando, it was showing a lot of hope for this Book of Boba Fett.
I'll end it on a good note. The score was great.
Yes, the score. Yes.
Did you notice in the final episode, the score was singing Boba's name? Like in the final episode, when they're singing like Boba Fett, Boba Fett, Boba Fett. And it's like, I was so mad. But yeah, I really loved that score. And it was, they made something unique and obviously there was still similarities to the Mandalorian theme, but it was definitely, as memorable. And yeah, I thought it was a cool little element of the show.
Yeah. Did Ludwig, did he return?
Yes, he did. But he didn't. He did some of the music, but he wasn't the composer. The actual composer was somebody else. So he did the music, but the compositions were all by somebody else. I think it all worked quite well, quite smoothly. Ludwig's probably working on Black Panther 2, Mando season 3, maybe Creed 3 as well. I don't know, but yeah, he's probably working on a lot of things.
The guy is going to get a lot of money when he's going to do like a lot of those films. Like, he's so talented with like all the music. Like, he did a lot of soundtracks.
He won an Oscar, didn't he, for Black Panther?
Yeah, he did.
Venom,
Tenet, right? Yeah, he did Tenet. Yeah,
he did Venom. He did Venom.
Oh no!
He did Venom.
Oh, no. Oh god, he did Venom. Oh god. Oh no. Oh yeah, I remember you telling me that. I was like,
we need our Ludwig Göransson and Eminem collaboration. The fans demand it.
Actually, that would be sick.
So what are you gonna give Book of Boba Fett? Final score.
Honestly, 5 or 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I could agree with a 6. I think I'll go 7, purely because you know me. I'm such a Star Wars shill.
It's because of Cad Bane. It's because of
Cad Bane, baby. Cad Bane's hat isn't big enough. 0 out of 10. Cad Bane's hat was too small. I'll never forgive them.
Who knows? That's not Cad Bane. That's a hat.
They gotta make the hat bigger.
Yeah, in the Clone Wars, his hat was bigger than the moon.
It was magnificent. And if you want to hear us talk more about Cad Bane, you can listen to our Bad Batch season 1 video where we talk about his magnificent. You just create Cad Bane's theme song. Cad Bane.
If anyone does like an animation of this, feel free.
Oh god, animated episodes of the podcast would be so confusing and so chaotic. I need that please, somebody do it.
Yeah. And then that'd be so cool. Okay.
That would be great. So yeah, that's it for this week. Thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. As I say, we've got Mandalorian content and Bad Batch stuff, so loads of Star Wars stuff if you're interested. And next week we're going to be doing the Nathan Drake Uncharted games, so the first 4 Uncharted games, and I'm so excited to talk about them. And the week after we're going to do Uncharted the film, so that's definitely something that has to happen. If you want to get in touch with us, you can at outsignfilmpod@gmail.com. You can ask us any questions, or share your thoughts on the Book of Boba Fett, or anything that you want to in the comments as well. And if you send us an email, we will reply on the podcast itself. And you can follow us on Instagram to see all of our incredible thumbnails, and Twitter for just thoughts from me. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was a DC trailer and the Flash suit looks incredible.
I agree. Looks
I'm like, yeah, it looks great. And you're like, yes, this is factual indeed.
This is factual. As a DC fan, I agree.
Oh, it looks great. It looks so good. And like Dr. Fate is in it, and Black Adam. Yeah, looks great. Yes. Hawkman, dude.
Dude. Oh, Hawkman, dude. Yeah, dude. He's there. Dude. Oh my God. What's that? What's that, dude?
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's everything. So yeah, take us out.
Make sure you follow that Twitter account, because that's the best. Because we don't. Do you rant about films?
Oh, I do. I go on Twitter once a day.
Okay, yes, follow him.
I get all of my I get all of my pay now. I'm just like, this film or the other film.
I'm glad I don't have Twitter anymore. I'm glad I don't have Twitter.
I love it, because honestly, like it's I can't get enough. But I do. I don't go on it
you enjoy what you're doing on there. Just make sure you don't get like a lot of hate on for like unpopular opinions.
I got a very controversial one about No Way Home, and everyone was like, stop hating, and I'm like, and everyone else is like, you're right, and I'm like, I'm making controversies.
Yes, you win, Tom.
Thank you.
I think that's it. Make sure that you're double vaccinated, wear a mask,
or triple.
Triple booster. Do that while you're listening to the podcast. Like
boost it like Din boosts his Starfighter. I brought it back, but it's straight back to the Book of Boba Fett. Woo!
You just didn't. Okay, you're stealing my spotlight.
Sorry,
son of a gun. Thank you for listening. It's been an interesting episode, but I mean, with Boba Fett, Cad Bane.
Cad Bane, what a guy. And don't worry, we'll come back and we will do Obi-Wan Kenobi when that show is finished. So this isn't the last time we're going to talk about Star Wars, because goddamn, love that stuff.
Star Wars is forever, I guess.
Woo! Oh, yeah. It's never going to end. Oh, no. They will one day make episode 10, 11, 12. You mark my words.
And the guy who wrote Game of Thrones, the last season, I guess, like they ruined that, and they might
don't worry, they're not doing they're not doing that anymore.
Yay, let's go. They won't ruin any more arcs. Let's go.
Probably because of Game of Thrones, they left the project or were probably fired. I don't know. But they're not doing that anymore. Don't worry, John. You're safe. Live to fight another day, boys. Live to fight another day. All right, take us out.
Yes. Take what you're given.
Give nothing back.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.